Impol from Slovenska Bistrica, Slovenia came into its 191st year of existence with two important events: the upcoming purchase of the rolling mill of former TLM, aluminum extruded products factory Šibenik, Croatia, and the launch of its production in early March 2016, and with the award for Best Large Company in the Slovenian Podravje region conferred by the Podravje Chamber of Commerce and its daily Večer. But this time, Impol's story of success will be dedicated to its new rolling mill in Croatia. Let's see to its short chronology. In the last 25 years, TLM has experienced turbulent moments. In those days, more than 100 workers working in the pressing plant were left without a pay for an entire year. The situation was similar in other plants as well. The company had imaginary buyers come in with the intention of depleting it, soon resulting in bankruptcy. The factory owed banks and workers more than 70 million euros. At that point, Impol entered the game and repaid most of the TLM's debts by purchasing the bank's receivables and becoming the largest creditor in the bankruptcy proceedings, with a clearly defined pre-purchasing right that is set to be implemented next year when the bankruptcy proceedings are finished. After a promising start of restarting production, the Šibenik-based factory was again hit by another incident. On the 28th of May, a fire broke out in the warm rolling mill, the factory's key machine, destroying a good deal of hydraulic systems and other vital parts amid unfortunate circumstances. The rolling mill stopped working as it required thorough renovation. The latter was performed in a record time by Impol's experts and workers together with German experts in such repairs. Thus, the rolling mill went back into operation already on the 20th of September, less than 4 months after complete shutdown. This made its production running in other manufacturing processes of Impol TLM as well, supplying the market with different rolling products, including strips, metals, thin strips, and foils. With the restart of the rolling mill, one of the workers back home who was watching all this commented on the solemn ceremony by saying, "Even though a seagull is our favorite bird, we will now have a phoenix as our symbol too, due to Impol rising from the ashes of TLM and this most important machine set to give us bread." Of course, the Šibenik-based rolling mill is extremely important for the entire Impol system, since it can increase its production capacity to 200,000 tons a year.
Nakup Šibenika nekako zaokrožuje naše valjarništvo, ki smo ga zdaj gradili mogoče dobrih 15 let. Z nakupom Šibenika si mi pravzaprav odpiramo v Impolu nove perspektive.
The purchase of Šibenik somehow rounds up the art of our rolling, which took us perhaps 15 years to build. We're gaining new perspectives by indicating a new strategy until 2025. A 100% increase of Impol's production, set to bring us around 1 billion euros of profit, from current 530 to 540 million. This practically means that the current production will be doubled, and so will be the revenues. Of course, rolling will bring a lion's share to Impol, but we shouldn't forget about pressing, which is also being developed into products with a higher added value.
Ne smemo pa tudi zanemariti stiskalništvo, ki ga tudi razvijamo naprej in ga razvijamo v izdelke z višjo dodano vrednostjo.
A team of qualified workers from Slovenska Bistrica has done a huge work with restoring the rolling mill in Šibenik and its double restart in the last 2 years. Most of them will stay in the TLM for quite a while in order to help educate workers here.
Glavno postrojenje tega obrata oziroma te tovarne je ta topla valjarna, ki jo vidite v ozadju.
The main installation of this plant or this factory is the warm rolling mill that you see behind me. The restart was pretty difficult. We had to replace most of the equipment and spare parts and buy new ones and put them together. TLM's teams managed to train and start this company together with our experts. In fact, the fire started on the rolling stand and then spread further on to the top of the rolling mill, where most damage was done. In the period of 3 months, during which we seriously approached the rehabilitation of the mill, more than 60 people had been working on it. Many teams and experts coming from outside as well helped with repairing the damage. But the best thing we did was modernizing this rolling stand, which is completely new today.
Najboljša stvar, ki smo jo pa naredili ob tem, je pa tudi sama modernizacija tega valjarskega ogrodja, ki je danes praktično popolnoma novo.
The current production capacity of Impol TLM enables an increase in sales for a third, while half is used for warm rolling. Therefore, chances for its expansion are still big.
Impol je pravzaprav že nekaj let načrtoval rešitev podobno, kot jo omogoča tale topla valjarna tukaj v Šibeniku. In s podobnim namenom je že...
Impol was planning a similar solution enabled by this warm rolling mill here in Šibenik years ago. 13 years ago, the company went to a mill in Serbia with similar intentions, ensuring appropriate capacity of warm rolling, which we of course started and upgraded it with some quality work in the market and the production. When there was a need for warm rolling capacities, a new window opened and we got a warm rolling mill here in Šibenik. It was perfect for us having the mill in such a business position as it was, meaning that the path to join the Impol group was ready. The location in the city's industrial zone enables a dynamic development based on additional advantages of existing capacities and installation of new rolling and casting equipment also in the future. This way, the group has found potential for development in the area of rolling in the next 10 years.
Na tak način je skupina Impol tudi na valjarskem področju našla potencial za razvoj v prihodnjih 10 letih.
By coming to Croatia, Impol continued its tradition of proprietary integration and collaboration with factories of aluminum producers and processors in the former Yugoslav country. Thus, next to Serbian Sevojno, Impol came to Šibenik as well, a move politicians over there hailed, since this enabled the tradition of their production in this area to be continued. It is, after all, a good example of a cooperation between both countries, which hasn't always been the case.
Ja sam kao naravno izvršna vlast u ovoj Šibensko-kninskoj županiji, odnosno našoj regiji, prepoznao Impol kao nekog ko je, pa da skoro kažemo, kao bogom dan u odnosu na...
As a representative of the executive power in this Šibenik-Knin county or this region, I've realized that God sent Impol appeared as a quality company with certain business intentions and possibilities, set to realize its production plans which had already been taking place at TLM. We're very satisfied with Impol. I think this is perfect harmony with our friendly neighboring country, set to develop further as the company has great potential. I'm glad that they have picked our place, where aluminum is already a tradition, choosing between Slovenia, Serbia and Croatia. As politicians, we wanted this economic story to continue. Impol will make this happen.
U onom gospodarskom dijelu priče je upravo nastaviti tu tradiciju. Impol je taj koji će to omogućiti.
Just like in Slovenia, Croatia too has seen many bankruptcy proceedings last forever. Now, our neighboring country passed a new law setting an end to bankruptcy proceedings within 4 rounds of auction in a year and a half.
To znači da do negdje polovice, do 6. mjeseca iduće godine mi ga moramo zaključiti.
This means bankruptcy should come to an end until June next year. I believe this will happen sooner, since the court has already adopted a decision about selling the assets. We have predicted 4 rounds via FINA Financial Agency, and I'm certain that everything will end within the estimated time, but it's more likely that this will happen even sooner. I believe that Impol, as an interested partner in the bankruptcy proceedings after taking over production, will formally sign up and buy this property and continue working.
Koji preuzeo je proizvodnju se u tom postupku javiti i to kupiti i formalno onda preuzeti kao svoju imovinu dalje raditi.
The workers of former TLM, the ones who maintained work and the ones who wish to get employed in the future, are looking forward to the end of the bankruptcy proceedings too.
Sa ponovnim pokretanjem toga valjka vidim svijetlu budućnost za Impol TLM, za cijelu tvornicu.
I see a bright future for Impol TLM with the restart of this foundry. Impol coming to this area doesn't mean a lot just to TLM but also to the entire Šibenik and beyond. I can say for sure that people who used to work here went through a real calvary. They were left with no work, some of them being sent on hold. But with the arrival of Impol, these people got their lives back. Workers started receiving regular paychecks and started living a normal life. Those who haven't experienced this have no idea what this means to a person in a situation like this. Impol coming here really means a lot to us.
Ne zna šta to znači. Ne zna šta to znači biti u toj situaciji. Tako da dolazak Impola je ovdje za nas veoma značajan.
The company currently employs 340 workers. During the time of our visit, as many as 90 people signed up for this job, this being proof of huge interest to work here.
Ja, za uspešen zagon proizvodnje smo mi potrebovali delavce z izkušnjami.
For a successful launch of production, we needed experienced workers. That's why we first picked out managers among former employees at TLM and then set the number of contractors in individual processes. We let the choice to heads of these processes. Now Impol TLM employs 340 workers. These are mostly former TLM employees. In the future, we tend to increase that number to 370, 380 people, so we will need 30 to 40 more people. The selection of workers is made by the Employment Service through newspaper and radio ads. Currently, we're performing job interviews in order to get new people.
Izvajamo zaposlitvene razgovore in na ta način pridobivamo nove sodelavce.
Many managers have successfully taken part in the restart of Impol's production during this transitional period. Among them, Mariana Lajeta. What is her view on the acquisition in Šibenik?
Zelo pozitivno, zato ker je Impol...
It's very positive because compared to pressing, Impol's foundry has been looking for the right way for a long time now, if I can use these words in describing the current strategy. We have finally built foundations that enable an overall production of all rolling programs, with the possibility of entering an automobile and aircraft market, being the pinnacle of technological development.
Nekim vrhuncem tehnološkega razvoja.
The Impol Group covers both basic programs of processing aluminum, rolling and pressing, thereby ensuring a stable business. In the past, the pressing program managed to develop quality products on levels satisfying the most demanding customers in the market.
Ravno smo pred kratkim, 5 let nazaj, šele vključili novo linijo, ki rečemo Alumobil, je do danes ta v popolnosti zasedena, tako da v bodoče moramo.
Even though we included a new line, Alumobil, only recently, 5 years ago actually, that is now completely occupied. So in the future, we need to think about Impol's strategy of developing pressing by investing in a new line. On a management board level, as part of the new 2025 strategy, we reached a deal a short while ago about investing funds in 2 new pressing machines. It's very important that we don't forget about horizontal casting of rods, which is a completely new thing in forging aluminum for car industry. If we want to remain the first in Europe in supplying the market in this area, it's necessary for us to invest here in order to complete the program and become the first in Europe, which is our goal.
Potem je v to investicijo nujno potrebno iti, da lahko kompletiramo program in ostanemo prvi v Evropi, kar je naš cilj.
At the site of Impol TLM, part of the factory is also a foundry, which is in operation, though with a limited capacity, since some machines, mainly furnaces, are outdated. That's why they're thinking of renovating it. The foundry has an important role in the entire Impol system.
Skupina Impol se zelo dobro zaveda pomena lastne livarne.
Impol Group is very well aware of the meaning of its own foundry. This namely ensures the cheapest raw material input at a specific time, and at the same time, it provides the cheapest way of processing waste produced within the production process. The foundry in Slovenia is the largest and the most modern foundry in the Impol Group. In the last 5 years, we have increased production for 50%. Currently, we're producing 135,000 tons per year. We have an environmental permit for this sort of business. The foundry in Serbia is halfway with an annual capacity of 69,000 tons, and the foundry in Šibenik does not currently follow world trends, which means that aluminum recycling will need to be completely renewed. In the years to come, we expect 40 to 50 million euros of investments and plan to increase production capacity to 150,000 tons a year. This year, we're producing only 30,000 tons, meaning that we will increase production for 120,000 tons.
Se pravi, bo nekje proizvodnje povečano za 120,000 ton.
In the past, Impol devoted a lot of resources to investment and modernization of production both in Slovenska Bistrica and Sevojno, and now in Šibenik. Given that options for expanding on the original location of the company in Slovenia are limited, additional investment would be possible in the huge complex area of former TLM. The port in Šibenik, next to the port of Koper, to where most of raw aluminum from different countries arrives, will play a big part here. This year, they will get 215,000 tons, mostly coming from Mozambique. For years now, procurement has been successfully coordinated with exchange business and future trading by Tanja Brkljačić.
Za vsako tono izdelka, ki ga Impol proizvede in proda, moramo najprej nabaviti vsaj 1,2 toni aluminija.
For every ton of products that Impol produces and sells, we first need to purchase at least 1.2 tons of aluminum. As primary aluminum goes, Impol buys it in the form of ingots, whereas second aluminum is purchased in the form of industrial waste. It also buys standard poles for printing profiles and brams for printing strips and sheet. In Europe, the production of aluminum is decreasing. From year to year, it's falling because the price of electric energy is very high. That's why European producers need to import aluminum. Most of it is bought from outside of Europe. Ships come mostly from Africa and trains via Siberia to the Black Sea, and then via ships to the Adriatic Sea and Luka Koper, Bar and Šibenik ports in order to be close to our factories. We need to stress that aluminum is a stock metal and therefore subject to huge risks. That's why it's important for Impol to manage these price risks, which are a result of increasingly high activity of stock exchange prices. Aluminum is a capital-intensive business that is becoming more and more complex, demanding consistency, high professionalism and efficiency from all the employees here at Impol.
V Impolu zahteva usklajenost, visoko strokovnost in učinkovitost.
Let us go back to the opening of the new rolling mill at Impol TLM, which was an important cornerstone in the development of rolling. Next to the system for hot and cold rolling, the foil rolling mill and the line for finalizing the cuts is now in full operation too. And all this enables a good deal of production finding its place on European as well as global market. Back home in Croatia, they tend to sell 10% of all the production. Otherwise, Impol plans to sell more than 95% of the entire production to foreign markets in 2016.
V letnem planu mi imamo 50,000 ton izvoza za kupce, 10,000 ton.
There's an annual plan of 50,000 tons of export for buyers, 10,000 of foil and 40,000 tons of sheet and strips. In the future, we will of course do our best to raise our production program to a bit higher level, meaning we won't be selling only merchandise, but slowly moving to car industry. The new rolling mill at Impol TLM is one of the cornerstones of Impol's mosaic, becoming an important player in the field of processing aluminum in the demanding world market with a specialization in production programs in Slovenska Bistrica, Sevojno and Šibenik. And that alone is most important and a good encouragement for future work.